What it is, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the war room, we'll say. Welcome to the battle. We're going to talk about it today. Probably, what is it, 4 days in a row? Maybe no Candace Owens next week. We'll see what we lead with instead. But it's still news today. Lots of people responding. So we'll talk about it today and maybe get some engagement from people so I can hear what their opinions are. You get different opinions depending on who's tuned in where, curious about what's going to happen long term with Candace Owens and if she can maintain her top spot as the queen, which she is reigning right now as far as the numbers and the cash. So I'll open up the phone. Probably. Hopefully, it'd be cool. Be cool to hear from some people. We heard from somebody the other day. So maybe we'll hear from some other people about what they think, because there are diverging opinions. More people are coming out against Candace Owens publicly, I would say. She may or may not be losing friends, but she has friends too. Jimmy Dore is maybe live right now. I was tuned into his show. He's a big supporter. But we also heard from Nick Fuentes on Twitter and on his show yesterday, saying she's a coward for not going on with TPUSA. So we have like the divide. So we're going to talk about the divide and try not to be too judgmental. Although we have opinions here, we're not immune to those. So very interesting situation. The murder of Charlie Kirk, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Kash Patel was on with Megyn Kelly today too. So I can play that clip first. So I'll play some various clips. We'll listen to Candace Owens' response. Listen to a little of TPUSA when they were challenged by a caller calling into, here, I'll turn on the comments so people can see. And then I can say tall like that, and people can see what people are saying live in real time. Welcome to the Lift the Veil experience. Friday night. Hope you guys are ready. So, just setting up what we're going to talk about. We'll show her, hopefully you know, or maybe I'll tell you, Candace Owens really threw shade at TPUSA recently, saying they betrayed Charlie, basically implicating them in the murder of Charlie Kirk. TPUSA felt compelled to respond, according to them. Some nerdy guy that came on, who's in my thumbnail, who came on and said, okay, finally, we're going to answer all the questions. We're going to do a live stream. Candace can come if she wants. Live in person only. Candace said, name the time and the place. They named the time and the place. And Candace said, oh, I'm doing my show then. I can appear virtually. And everybody, and like I said, all of her cat ladies said, don't go. They're going to kill you. And so she said she would appear virtually. Don't know why. Somebody said it's her husband's birthday that day, but I don't know if that's true. Just saw it on Twitter. Oh, that's her husband's birthday. Oh, she has kids, etc. So that's the so they said Candace chickened out. That's what they said, basically. Candace is chickened out. She's not going to be there. Even though Candace said, go ahead, I'll show up. I'll just be virtual. That's fine. We live in the future already. We can appear virtually. Yeah, I understand that. I've never had an in-person guest for this show, but I'm also not rich. Now, I don't have a studio and stuff. It seems like rich podcasters prefer the in-person thing. So we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it, the pros, the cons, etc. Nick Fuentes had a very interesting response to it. He had a lot of things to say about it, so I'll play you that. We can talk about Nick if you guys want to, too. He was just on Steven Crowder the other day talking about his meandering political philosophy, which is not concrete. It's a very strange, I don't know what it is. I don't know what Nick Fuentes actually thinks. It's very hard to pin down. He likes FDR. He likes the New Deal. He revealed all that in Steven Crowder. He wants a king. He doesn't want a king. He wants a strong. He wants a strong president. He would have preferred Kamala Harris, or he likes Trump better. Hard to figure out. So we can talk about that if you guys want to. This is a two-way show. We respond to what people ask about. And like I said, maybe we'll take some phone calls. We certainly have the capability to do that. And that is one of the unique features of this show when we get enough people tuned in. So, got to go over that. Could have led with the boat strikes. So Candace Owens, TPUSA, whose side are you on? You can call in. I'll set it up with a few videos. Then I'll open up the phone and see what happens. See if anybody wants to call in. In other news, as we also cover, the boat strikes situation is still unfolding, and I'm particularly interested in that subject. But I'm losing some friends. I lost a friend on yesterday's show who started calling me names. It's an interesting situation we're in with the boat strikes. Many people don't care if we kill alleged drug traffickers, basically. I don't know if that's because of Trump or because that's how people are or what, but that's where a lot of people are. And certainly Republicans, except for Rand Paul, almost all Republicans except for Rand Paul, are either defending the boat strikes. I have Tom Cotton today, or not saying anything about them. The Democrats, on the other hand, are saying some things, so we want to listen to what they have to say. I've made it clear how I feel about them. I'm on Rand Paul's side, but this is a show that looks at all sides, so we're willing to take things into account. So I'll show you some of the latest on that. I have a few things about, there's going to be a big health care fight, and that's going to be one of the biggest issues probably going into 2026. So I want to make sure to continue to talk about what the GOP solution is. We know what the Democrat solution is, and they're going to bring up a bill soon to extend Obamacare subsidies, and it's not going to pass. But given that it's not going to pass, what is the plan from the GOP? And so we're going to continue talking about like the death of the Republican Party, basically the Trump coalition. And we'll talk about how much the death of the Trump coalition is to be blamed on Candace Owens, like Tim Pool says. And we'll talk politics a little bit. And then one of the primary topics we talk about on this show is AI and the replacement of human beings. And there is big news today regarding Elon Musk, artificial intelligence, and Grok 420, which I'm going to tell you guys about today. It has to do with stock picking and what was a mystery AI model that made like 50% in 2 weeks trading in the stock market with real money, just an artificial intelligence machine. And I would love to do that well in 2 weeks. We'll see if it can keep it up. But it was revealed today that a breakthrough AI, which previously had been a mystery AI, trading stocks on this platform, which I'll tell you guys about and show you, was actually an experimental model of the new Grok. And AI is progressing extremely rapidly. There's going to be a new model of OpenAI's ChatGPT apparently launching within days. Grok 5 might come out by the end of the year. Everything is happening very fast. So we're preparing you. All right. So let's see what people say. Let's play our intro, then we'll get to the comments, then we'll get to the show. Okay. Ready for the famous introduction to this show? Here we go.
Okay. Cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman, and I bring you the news, the real news.
All right. So some of the comments so far, we have Candace 100%, Team Candace 100%. We have that. We have Candace has children and is pregnant. Fuck turning point. She's pregnant again. Really? Doesn't she? I heard she has like 4 kids. She married that guy without dating him. I learned that today. And she does kind of disrespect. Well, I found it a little disrespectful of Charlie Kirk that she started sharing text messages about him going out with some other girl who Candace said she was in love with. That's kind of, I don't know. What do you guys think? Erica Kirk, a little disrespectful to Erica Kirk, who is a super weird, is a weirdo. I don't mind saying that. Nobody knows who I am anyway. She's weird. But Candace started sharing like text messages. And I saw some Instagram post that Candace posted of her hanging out with Charlie. It was kind of like it was a very flirty relationship. I wonder about that. I wonder if she really wanted to marry Charlie Kirk. And then she's in some kind of like weird, almost arranged marriage, it seems like. Well, I don't know. But I saw a clip of the guy. I didn't save it in my bookmarks today. I bet I could find it again, though. He's like, yeah, I met her, and she was like super impressive. And like, here I have it. They got engaged 17 days after meeting, and I think he proposed to her on the internet. And they never went out or anything. And he's like a rich guy that apparently was set up to run. Apparently he was involved with like the Mercers or something. I don't know. I listened to Nick too much, but Nick tied him into the whole Peter Thiel Mercer mafia. He was picked to run, what was that audio app? Clubhouse? He was somehow picked to run Clubhouse. So she married this super rich guy and they never even dated, I guess. So I'll actually play that clip for you just for the soap opera interest. Since she talks about Erica and stuff, some people are sharing clips of her husband. So I'll show you that. Different sides. Patrick Bet David had something interesting to say about it. I'm going to play for you. No reply says all of Candace Owens' info is coming from George Webb. Yeah, we noticed George Webb jumped on it. We know George Webb from way back. We and George Webb go way back. George Webb is all over it. People are talking about Pierre Dupont, the guy she accused sort of the other day. And we'll see how long that lasts. But she accused Pierre Dupont of somehow being involved. She said one of the calls immediately after Charlie's death was to Pierre Dupont of the DuPont family, the DuPont dynasty. Then I saw some people saying Pierre Dupont was involved in some kind of child rape or something. So I've been looking. And yeah, George Webb is all over it. Team Candace. Okay, great. Well, if anybody wants to call in, we'll post our number. We'll go over the news, then we'll post our number and see if people want to call in. So prepare for that. I don't know if I want to interrupt the flow. We'll go ahead and show you we'll set it up first and get some people tuned in. So thanks for joining us. I have multiple personalities. When I say us, it's just me. It used to be me and Doshi, my producer, my Persian or Siamese cat, who's no longer with us, unfortunately. So it's just me when I say that. We want to show you it's actually just me and the voices in my head. But we are going to talk about, and then you guys program me remotely. All right. Do you feel like you got the appropriate setup? All right, let's go. Okay. She was invited. She was invited. She said, anytime, anywhere, anytime, any place. You name the time and the place, I'll be there, she said. They tweeted out at midnight. This is when we're doing it. A little more than a week from today. A week from Monday, the 15th. Today's the 5th. This Monday is the 8th. And then next Monday is the 15th. And very importantly, America Fest is coming up. So I think they want to clear it up before America Fest. Also, as part of their TPUSA faith initiative, they've had pastors come out and not talk much like about loving Jesus or whatever, but talk about hating Candace Owens. They've mixed that into their sermons. We must hate Candace Owens. We must denounce Candace Owens. They've been doing that. But they're still going to have Tucker, who hasn't had anything bad to say about Candace Owens. I don't know if Megan will be there. She has refused to say anything bad about Candace Owens. She talked to Patel today, cross-eyed Patel, and asked her about Candace Owens' theories, as if they're serious. And so she still, so America Fest is coming. That's all I'm saying. America Fest is coming. TPUSA may be dying. Candace was invited. She said, oh, it was disingenuous. They didn't ask me if I was free, etc. Nick Fuentes pushed back on X, said, what are you talking about? Just show up. This is like the climactic scene. You've been pushing these conspiracy theories for 3 months, blaming TPUSA. This is your chance to face them in person. Why don't you just show up? Candace was like, oh, etc. This was Candace's answer, so we have it. Steven Crowder is against her. Tim Pool is against her. Nick Fuentes is against her. Patrick Bet-David has some very interesting things to say.
Here is what Blake tweeted out just now before we went live on the show. Yesterday, we made it clear that we would be scheduling a formal response to allegations and accusations that you have made. We have decided that response will be delivered during a live stream, as he said, a live stream on December 15th. Thank you for your response, letting us know that you will not be joining the in-person conversation we will be proceeding without you. Why are you proceeding without me to have a conversation that is about me? Why am I getting 24 hours to respond? Why do you need me there in person if you are trying to be sincere and answer the very many questions that I have brought up on this show?
She did say anytime, any place. Why do they need to have her there in person? Well, you have to decide on that one. They had somebody appear. They had one of their own people, I think Andrew Corbett or whatever his name is, appear virtually today, apparently. She could appear virtually. But most of these podcasts, the big ones, people show up in person. What's stopping her from showing up in person? That's what I would ask. It seems like it should be the most important thing ever. And I'll tell you what she's going to do instead, which is kind of funny. Okay. Her response. Sorry.
You guys weren't even sincere in what you said yesterday. You told some glaring lies about things that I have said. So we're supposed to trust that you guys are going to handle this discussion all by yourselves and respond to any and every allegation. And this isn't just some planned PR for once and for all. Like I said, this is so obvious. He is being completely destroyed in the comments because what's happening at Turning Point, and I've seen this happen before, is they now believe that they are smarter than their audience, right? They think they are smarter than their small pocket donors. They can pull such an obviously crappy public move like this and pretend, well, we tried. You know, she said she could make it work and we tried, but it has to be physically, she needs to be in person, even though we have shown that we have people join us not in person and it's live streamed and we both have the tech abilities to do that. If she doesn't make this work within 24 hours, we can now say that it's on Candace. This is a disaster, okay? It is a dumpster fire. That's the only way to describe what is happening at Turning Point USA today and right now is a dumpster fire. Everyone can read this for what it is. As I said, they are getting destroyed in the comments. Like, really, guys? Really? You're not going to just send us a simple live stream link and let us join you? We've had people on this show live streamed. We could have them tomorrow. I said, in response, I said to them, I'll make this work. I also attached to that tweet any day leading up to the 15th. We can do this virtually any place and any time. But no, they need to have it in person in Phoenix.
Any place, any time, she says, except she can't leave her house. She hasn't said like what's preventing her. She's going to be doing her show that day. Any place, anytime. Well, yes, from your house. It is different when you're in person.
On December 15th, or they cannot have me at all. Is that passing the vibe check for you guys?
Did she suggest another day? Why didn't she just suggest another day that she could show up in person? Because she claims it's a scheduling conflict. So why doesn't she say, okay, well, I can actually show up in person a different day, but she doesn't offer that either. It has to be virtual for her. It has to be in person for them. She does interviews in person when they're important. She had Nick fly in.
Or does it seem like more posturing and more of a way for them to simply be in the room with themselves as they all lie without any person in the room to be able to fact check those lies, who have researched those lies and who have kept a list regarding the very many lies they are telling? Okay. I maintain that Turning Point is engaged in a cover-up. That is how I feel. Okay. And like I said, it pains me to say that because this was once a bright spot in the conservative movement. It is no longer. They are using left-wing tactics, calling us names rather than answering us questions. It's everything Charlie stood against, okay? You don't need to call somebody a racist because they're asking questions about what happened with George Floyd leading up to his death, okay? That is a way that you skip over having to debate logically, is you name call. All Blake Neff did was name call yesterday. All the pastors have been doing. It's demonic. It's possessed. It's evil. How about you simply answer the questions and stop behaving like you're a radical leftist? Everyone.
Well, given that they're not willing to accept her virtually, then and these questions are super important to her, then I think she needs to be clear, like, why can't she show up in person, I guess. For me. So that's where I'm at, actually. She says it's super important that she's able to talk to them and debunk what they're saying. She says it's super important. They're asking for her in person, and she says it's super important, and they're going to lie. So I think she needs to have a better excuse, personally, for why she doesn't show up in person, besides, like, they're going to kill her, because that's crazy. Or actually, like, that would just prove her point. So if that's the idea, is like, oh, they're going to kill her, well, that would be worth it. I would think, to be like, oh, okay, well, that proves it. You know what I mean? It'd be kind of the craziest thing in the world if, like, she's accusing them of killing Charlie, then they invite her there and they kill her. I mean, everybody would know then, probably, so she would win. I see what people are saying. I see you guys. That's my opinion. It's super important for her to challenge them. For her. It's not that important to them that she's there for it. It's important for her and her investigation that she's able to challenge them. So if it's so important to her, then what's stopping her? She's rich enough. She can hire a nanny. She can get on a plane. She's not afraid to go out, apparently, according to some information Nick has. She has been going out. She went out for Thanksgiving. She went out apparently last night or the night before to public events, public places. So, but you can call in. That's the thing. If I have an opinion, you can call in. That's the thing, right? So anyway, that's my opinion. It's like, if it's super important, then, and they're not willing to have her by live stream, well, then why won't you show up? Like, what is the real issue then with not showing up? What's preventing her from going to Phoenix then? Like, what's stopping her? What's the conflict? She's just going to be live streaming that day. Yeah, that's what she's going to do. I'll tell you that. I'll play the rest of it. Because we're never going to, based on what she says she's going to do, everybody's going to watch her stream. She'll make more money, etc. But let me play this.
One can see what you're doing. That's what I want you guys to know.
And like, she's like, oh, everybody's destroying them in the comments. Yeah, it's true. Almost everybody. Grok says it's like 93% of the comments under TPUSA are supportive of Candace Owens. So, but when I was watching, depends on who's tuned in where, though. When Tim Pool is talking about it, he ran a poll and 80% were against Candace Owens. So we're going to have a mix here. I see there's a mix, which is good. We don't have an echo chamber. I have an actual opinion.
Very clear, okay? I'm not asking people to defend me. You are just genuinely this transparent. So I am sorry that I cannot arrive in person because it's our last week on air before the holidays. I am still very happy, and I will say it again, to make that date and time and place, because I'm here and we have the technological capabilities to make it so, make it work. We can move it around and we can do it even at midnight. I will stay awake and I will make that work for you at midnight, anytime. Just send me a link. In the meantime, we are just
they're not going to send you a link. That's the thing. She can say anytime. They're not going to send her a link. They want her to show up in person. So she's not agreeing to the terms. So I guess they can say she backed out. I guess, technically. They could agree to her terms. They could, but they don't feel like it. It's her investigation. They feel like they're going to make the points they need to make on their own and don't need her there to do that because they think she's wrong. So it's not, they don't need her for their show. Although the way she says she's going to do it, nobody's going to tune into her show. I readily admit that. She says she's going to stream them and respond live on her own platform, which is a very safe way to do it because she doesn't have to deal with any real questions. Or if they show real evidence, let's say, she can just control the whole narrative with people who are all supportive of her, which will be everyone tuned in on her channel, which is probably what it's I don't know, it'll be like 100 to 1. It'll be her biggest show ever. And they are, I don't know, like almost nobody's going to tune into their stream, probably. Almost nobody. They'll all tune into Candace Owens' stream. She's going to stream them and live respond on her platform. But that doesn't help much because she can't challenge them. And she has control of everything. So it's not going to answer any questions, unfortunately. Good. We have some. Good. Some people say Charlie Kirk's still alive. I like that kind of conspiracy talk. We can get real conspiracy deep. Somebody says he's in Valhalla, Egypt. He's maybe with Epstein, who's probably still alive. We believe that for sure. I don't know why more people don't talk about that. The fact that they killed somebody else who looked kind of like Epstein or used a dead body that looked kind of like Epstein, but not very much like Epstein. Epstein not only didn't suicide himself, but he didn't suicide at all. They moved him out of there to Crisis Actor Island or whatever that place is, where all the death fakers go. I don't know. We'll see. All right. So that's her response. Okay. She is not going to show up. She has a long time. I mean, yeah, they gave her 24 hours to respond, but really, I don't know about that. She could respond anytime. She could go anytime. It's a long time from now. As far as them not communicating with her and stuff, I mean, it's like more than a week and a half notice to be able to just go to Phoenix, which is lots of airplanes fly there. So it's pretty easy. I don't know if they offered to pay. They should offer to pay for her travel, but she's rich. So her stream is going to be enormous. It'll be funny if she runs ads on her stream while she's doing it, but I'm sure she'll get a lot of super chats. She's super famous. Will it last? That's the thing I want to know. Can she keep it up after the TPUSA thing? That's what I want to know. How long can she keep it going? The assassination thing over Thanksgiving, the assassination cliffhanger over Thanksgiving, that's kind of we're already kind of past that, it seems like. The FBI is not going to look into it because she hasn't shown them any evidence. She hasn't shown any evidence of that. The Egyptian planes, people are kind of past that for the most part, although some people are still talking about it. She's still talking about it. Jana Banana, thank you for tuning in. She already addressed it. Her husband said no. Her husband said no? Is that what she said? Her husband said no. They have other stuff going on. She said she would live stream in. Well, they can't have that much going on. She still has to prepare for her show, and she's still doing her show. Doesn't take that long to fly to Phoenix from, she's in Nashville or something. It doesn't take that much time. It's not that big of a commitment. And she could suggest another day. That's all. That's what I would do if I was her. Okay, well, I can't make it that day. You guys didn't schedule with me, but I can make it on Tuesday or Wednesday or this coming week. Like, work with me. That's what she's saying, is they're not being flexible. I'll offer a different time then that you can fly in. I mean, she's doing her show every day. It takes time to do your show. I know that. It takes me, I've spent most of the day doing research and stuff. I don't have a team or anything. So if she's still doing her show, she has time. She can fly there, fly back. It's a pretty short flight. She can make it comfortable. She can get a babysitter for her kids. She can't, I mean, I don't know. I don't have kids, so I'm not trying to be unsympathetic, but it's one day. Don't people have, and she has a husband who also doesn't work, I think, right? He's just rich. So why doesn't he look after the kids? I'm sure she has to leave the house sometimes. Right? I don't know. I'm not trying to be insensitive. It's one day. It's one afternoon. Fly in, fly out. She can't find somebody to watch the kids. Her husband can't watch the kids. He's home all day, right? This is the thing they're saying. The whole world would know her itinerary after a death threat. She's going out already in public. She's not acting, well, I don't know, according to Nick. I'll play Nick's response. She's actually apparently doing things in public where people know she's going to be there. Apparently. And I don't know. I mean, it's good they know, because if they killed her, everybody would know. I don't know. I think people are. I don't think there's any threat to her life. That's all. I just don't believe the French thing. I think it's somebody called her. Yeah, maybe she took it seriously, but apparently she's still going out in public. I'll play you this clip. You can tell me.
If she's so afraid for her life, why was she at Tucker Carlson's Christmas party in Nashville last night? Why was she at Dollywood on Thanksgiving, the theme park? So allegedly, the French government and the Israeli intelligence have put a hit out on you. They've paid millions of dollars to kill you, but you're walking around a theme park in your town. You're walking around, for those that don't know, what is it? Dollywood, Dollyland. It's like Dolly Parton's Disney World. You're walking around Disney World. You're walking around an amusement park in your hometown on the holiday weekend when allegedly everyone's trying to kill you. Then you go to a Christmas party with Tucker Carlson in the same city, attended by hundreds of people, and people know you're going to be there with Tucker and all the based people in one room. But you can't go to Turning Point, where everybody knows you're going to be. And if anything happened to you, God forbid, they would immediately blame Turning Point. It doesn't even make any sense. So she says, I'm going to live stream the live stream, and I'm going to fact check it in real time. Why? I think we all know why. She's totally full of shit. She doesn't care about the truth. If she did, she would go, no matter the cost. If she were really courageous and a truth teller, she would bootstrap it and she would say, wish me luck. She would kiss her husband when she walks out the door and say, it might not be coming back. And she would go and just fully send it and do it. Because if this is really, as she says, of cosmic, spiritual, geopolitical significance, you have to. And it's being offered up on a silver platter. You just have to. After talking all this shit, driving everybody against each other for the past 3 months, you got to do it. So clearly she doesn't believe what she's saying as far as the significance of all of this. Secondly, I don't think she believes what she's saying about Turning Point. Why does she not want to go in person? Because if she goes in person, she might get caught on the back foot. She might find out that her whole theory was wrong and that all of her facts are wrong, and she might not be able to explain herself. If she's at home, she's not under pressure. What's more, she's got her producer in her ear, like she did when I was on her show, like she does on all her shows. What's the producer's name? Skylar? She's going to have Skylar in her ear. So when she mispronounces something or she gets something wrong, she's going to say, Skylar, what was that? And Skylar can be on AI. Skylar can be on Twitter, and he can help her out. She can have air support. That's what this is about. And so she knows, first of all, it's obviously she does not mean what she says. It is not that important to her. And she does not have the courage of her convictions. She knows she's going to melt at Turning Point. She needs backup. So then she's going to engage in yet another lie. And then she's going to gaslight the world and say, oh, I'm not a coward. It's not that I don't have the courage of my convictions. It's they are being weird. They're being weird. I'm not backing down. They said, we're going to do a stream. You said, name the time and place. They did. Now you're saying you can't go in person, but you can live stream it. And we all know why that is. But then she'll turn around and say, oh, I'm not a coward. They're just being weird. They announced it at midnight, so that's why I can't go. You can't go because they announced it at midnight? You can't go because you're seeing this on Twitter and not in your inbox? I mean, what are you even talking about? And so this is where it's like, if you're still on this train, I honestly have no respect for you. If you're still on board after this, I don't know how anybody can buy in. And like I said, I'm not saying this for rhetorical effect. I would actually love to see her talk to Turning Point, because there's not a losing scenario there. If she goes to Turning Point, we're either going to find out that she was right all along. She's going to bring the receipts. She's going to name the names. She's going to put the screws in these people, and she is going to blow the lid on everything. And you know what? If she's right, we want to know. If she's right, I want to know that, and I want to see it. I want to see it proved. And if she's right, I will issue a public apology on video and writing. I will say, you know what? I doubted you. I didn't get it. You were right all along, blah, blah. Honest to God. And if she's wrong, then we'll know that too. We'll know that whatever the errors she made are, we will know what they are. And maybe it'll bring us closer to a bigger truth about what happened to Charlie Kirk, whether it was Tyler Robinson or some other thing went on, or maybe Turning Point wasn't in on it. We'll know more. And I think everybody wants to see it. We want to see, she's been building the energy for 3 months. This is supposed to be the climactic, like jury trial, courtroom drama moment. And she goes, I can't go. Well, you know what? I can't take you seriously then.
There you go. That's Nick Fuentes. How does he know everything? I don't know. Nick knows everything. That's all. He seems to. I don't know why. How does he know he was at Tucker Carlson's party? I don't know. He's got tabs on things. He seems to know some things. It would be good to see it. It'd be good if they took her by live stream, of course. But they don't care. I guess that's the problem for trying to get to the truth. It would be cool. I agree. They could take her by live stream, but they don't care. She's the one that cares, theoretically, about Charlie Kirk's assassination. They think Tyler Robinson did it. And they don't, you know what I mean? They're not interested in getting to the truth behind Charlie Kirk's assassination because they think they already know the truth. They're pretty sure of it. Just like a lot of people, Steven Crowder and others. They think she's crazy. And apparently they say they have proof. So the onus is really on her because she's the one doing the investigation. She's the one making the claims. She's the one who has questions. So if she wants the questions answered, then she has to agree to their terms because they don't care about her being there because they think she's crazy. So it's a standoff, basically. They could have her virtually, obviously. They obviously could have her virtually. But it's not important to them. It should be important to Candace. Because it's her chance to confront them. It's her opportunity. It's like they're offering her an opportunity on their terms. And she's saying no, basically. So they don't have to agree to her terms. So it's like an impasse. She could suggest another date and tell them to keep it secret. If people are so worried about her traveling somewhere and everybody knowing about it because they're going to assassinate her, she could pick another date and say, hey, guys, let's do it. But I don't want people to know where I'm going to be in advance. I'm concerned about my security, what have you. And then she could say that she offered that at least. I mean, she's saying the invitate, like they didn't work it out with her. Well, she could offer another time. I mean, that's what I would do, I would think. Like, sorry, that date doesn't work for me. How about just this coming week or a different date? I want to be there. I don't want people to know where I am. So let's not announce it to the whole world in advance. She could say that. But as far as I can tell, she's the one who's not willing to meet like what their demands are. Like they're offering it to her. And she's the one who's supposed to be interested. Counterpoint? I don't know. I mean, they could have her. They could easily have her by live stream. I don't deny that. They could easily have her by live stream. But they don't, it's like they don't care. That's all. I don't think you could call it a setup. I don't know. You could call it a setup. But they're not showing him flexibility because she hasn't offered anything different. She's only offering to do things her way. They're offering to do things their way. So who has the motivation? That's all. Controversy. We love controversy. All right. So Charlie Kirk a fan calls in. They have a call-in show. We're going to open up the phone. I'd like to hear from people. But it's a pretty simple thing. I see it. It's very simple. People are like, they can have her virtually. Yeah, they could. It's easy. It would be easy for them to have her virtually if they cared. It would be easy. So I'm not denying that. We do things virtually. They do things virtually. They could have her virtually. This I'm about to show you, they have somebody virtually. They took calls, which is actually good. They have some transparency. At least they're letting people call in and disagree with them. I was curious about that. Here's what they say about it. Somebody called in and said, hey, why don't you let her appear virtually? Let's hear what they have to say while someone's on the screen virtually. Blake Neff. Weird name. And then I guess that's Andrew Colvett.
And she's saying she can't attend in person. Can she attend on a live stream, or, you know, and you guys do live streams all the time. And is that going to be an option?
Course, Gina.
I'm just trying to make this come together.
Of course, Gina. So first of all, our initial statement, it was on the show on Wednesday. I made it at the request of Erica. All of this has been at the direction and approval of Erica because she heads this. And so what we were announcing there is we said she has said things that are not true, and we did not address them for a long time. We stated the reasons why, that we thought a lot of them were just not, how to put it, we initially just thought no one would believe a lot of what was being said. And we also just, we remembered the same friendship that Charlie had, and we just hoped that this would go away without requiring any sort of direct statement or confrontation from us. So what was approved is we announced we are going to respond to this. And what I said was we are going to announce a date soon. We actually hadn't agreed on it at the time I read the statement. We're going to announce a date where we're going to respond to this. And once we announce it, Candace is free to attend in person. That is what we announced. And so once we agreed on a time, I announced what the time was going to be. Candace, for her part, had said, you name the time, you name the place. That is what we did. As for why it was put out at that time, I would just say I don't think she had any difficulty in finding out what our scheduled time was. It seems everyone found it out quite quickly. And lastly, on the point of why it's in person, I think it's pretty intuitive that given what is being said, what the way this has worked is that it's critical to be in person if you want to be authentic and to be detailed. And that is what we think is a fair request to make if she's going to participate. But regardless, it is going to go forward because we have agreed that some response needs to be made. And so that's going to happen when we announced it on December 15th.
Okay. And then I saw something where they were like, Erica told us to do it. By the way, so I heard that, and I see people talking about that in the chat. I might have heard a longer clip or something. They were like, oh, no, Erica told us to do all of this. So apparently Erica is behind it. That's what they say. I like the people are lit up. I like it. Okay, so I get a feeling where people are at. I can tell without taking a poll. Do you want me to drop a poll anyway so you guys can reply? But I don't know what to ask, Candace or TPUSA. I mean, I'm not on TPUSA's side. Apparently, they're a very shady organization. I can show you this financial guy came out. I was just checking their views, their view counts to see how many people are tuning in. They still have big numbers. That show where not the one I just played, that was a show from this morning. But let's go to their channel. Is it the Charlie Kirk channel? 5.66 million subscribers. Everything's still named after Charlie. Whoa, stop. Start playing automatically. Live. They do the show live. Why does it not show the latest? Their views have been going down, it looks like. Although a lot of the ones, they got big views. Yeah. So when Charlie Kirk was on the show, they used to get, well, on big shows, they would get like 1 million views. But I guess that was when Iran was, why does it say latest? Looking at his channel. Home.
Patriot Mobile stands.
It's America's only Christian conservative. Oh, that's an ad, actually. That was an ad. Okay. Doesn't show what the latest are here. I was looking on. Okay. I was looking on this page. The Charlie Kirk Show addresses Candace Owens' slanderous lies. Oh, that's a nice thumbnail. I wish I could do. I was fucking around with my image editor. I'm terrible at it. I was so frustrated before the show. Finally, I had to have AI do it for me, but it finally did a good job, or reasonable job. I'm terrible with the photo editing technology. These guys all hire people that are experts at this stuff. 239,000 views, the video from a few days ago. She regularly gets over 1 million, basically. She can throw her dick around pretty much. I mean, she is the big dog. She's the big dog. She has the big following. What should I ask you guys? Candace versus TPUSA. Whose side are you on? That's the name of this show, right? Well, we'll take phone calls. We'll see what people say. We'll open it up. All right, let's hear what TPBD had to say. He'll probably be at the America Fest, I'm guessing. Is Candace losing allies? Is she too isolated? Is she in a bubble with... Yeah, she's getting tips. She gets a lot of emails.
One documentary I believe everybody needs to watch is the story of Morton Downey Jr. It's called Provocateur. He had a TV show at one point that was a top TV show.
This is him apparently responding to people asking about Candace. Apparently. I hadn't listened to the clip. So that's why he's talking about it. So this was his response, apparently. Let me just see what the setup was. He was asked what he thought about Candace's claim that the French government and Iran killed Charlie Kirk. It says, instead of siding with Candace, he told the audience to watch a documentary called Provocateur. Okay.
One documentary I believe everybody needs to watch is the story of Morton Downey Jr. It's called Provocateur. He had a TV show at one point that was a top TV show, passing Montel Williams, passing Rosie, and passing Oprah Winfrey. He was crushing it with the ratings. Eventually, he got to a point that he was so on fire that one day he tells his producer to cut his hair in the airport. I'm paraphrasing what happened, and write the swastika sign on my face to say the KKK and stuff like that. They're coming after me. And then a few months later, the producer on Phil Donahue's show, I believe, went on there and said, I can't be in on this anymore. This is not true. This never happened. I feel like crap. I have to come out and, say this because this never took place. You know what happened to Morton Downey Jr.? Disappeared. Nobody knows who Morton Downey Jr. is today. And the only reason you do is because you probably watch a documentary. Go watch the documentary. Hands down is insane, okay, on what happened there. So that's that part. So maybe that's what's going on.
There you go. So he suggests maybe that's what's going on with Candace. It could be can she maintain it? I want to know. We'll take phone calls. I want to know. Let me see if I have anything else. I have Rabbi Shmuley's daughter throwing Charlie Kirk under the bus, saying it's all his fault. Do you want to see that? With her Hebrew diamond necklace. She sells butt dildos, I think, with her dad, King of the Jews, or whatever he is. He's like America's rabbi. That's what Shmuley calls himself, right? America's rabbi. So this is America's rabbi's daughter who blames Charlie Kirk because he liked Candace Owens, who he really did. I saw the videos. He really did like Candace Owens. Maybe in kind of a, I don't know. Maybe it was kind of like a romantic, it was definitely like a flirty relationship. Maybe there's something to that. So this is her talking about Rabbi Shmuley, America's rabbi's daughter.
The main person responsible besides Candace Owens for what Candace Owens is doing to Turning Point USA, the way she's harassing the people who work there, she's tearing the organization apart. She is accusing the leadership there of murder. Millions of people in America now believe it because they follow her. The person responsible is Charlie. This was his fatal flaw in his lifetime. I loved and love Charlie. I listened to him every single day of my life, basically, his biggest fan. And I always knew his fatal flaw was that he never called Candace Owens out by name. He knew what she was doing. He knew that she was making conspiracy theories about a lot of people, but specifically Jews. Turning Point USA hosted her at an event last year, the year before that, and the year before that, after she had told the public things like, there is a ring of Jewish pedophiles that run Hollywood that send children around the world to be molested by adults. He knew that she was saying things like there are Jews in the world who drink the blood of Christians on Passover. And he not only never called her out, and by the way, you can still be friends with someone and publicly say this is wrong. He never did that. But more than that, he continued to host her at Turning Point USA. And this is something the non-Jewish world sometimes doesn't understand. And yes, Charlie was the greatest friend to Jews and Israel because he believed in the truth. But sometimes they don't understand that when there is evil, something like Candace Owens, the evil that she was doing to Jews, creating conspiracy theories about us, slandering us, just making things up and accusing us, they don't understand that they're next. They think it stops with Jews, so you don't have to call it out because it's not such a big deal. You can see in Charlie's life, he didn't call her out. And in his death, she's plaguing him. She's destroying everything. She's destroying the people he loved most in the world, the people he trusted the most in the world. It's the ugly truth. When you don't stop the evil immediately, call it out, say it's wrong, that evil will eventually come to you too. And that's what we're seeing now.
Blaming a dead guy. That's kind of rich, huh? Well, he made the claims. She needs to refute them. All right. I'll open up the phone. I'll open up right now. 650-GAY-TAXI is the phone number. Don't read into it too much. It just happens to be the numbers. I'll open up the phone. Let's see. I'd like to hear from people. I'm curious about Candace Owens' audience. I'm curious about the makeup. I'm curious about the man-woman divide. There are lots of men who listen to Candace Owens. I try sometimes, but I can't follow it too much. Like it's a little all over the place. I'd like a consistent theory. If there's going to be a theory about who killed Charlie Kirk, I'd like it to follow some kind of logical thread, which it doesn't seem to. It's kind of many things at once. I don't know if it's the French, the Egyptians, the Israelis, Turning Point. The phone is open, and I will post the phone number right there, and we'll see if people have to call in, unless you're just keyboard tough guys. Or you could be a telephone tough guy too. Now you can be a telephone tough guy and tell me off. The DuPonts, etc. I have the phone open so you can call in with your opinion. We have 100 people tuned in, and people are animated about this subject, I believe. What do you think? I could play more clips while we're waiting for a call, I guess. I have the finance guy talking about the shady. I'm not questioning the shady finances at TPUSA. I'm not questioning whether TPUSA is a shady organization. I don't think any charity or nonprofit, like there aren't many that aren't dirty. It's just a dirty business. Politics is a dirty business. Charlie Kirk was a very nice, it seems like kind of trusting Christian guy who was trying to do good things, I think. He seems like and everybody liked Charlie Kirk, and he's irreplaceable. certainly by that guy who's trying to replace him, Brylan, whatever his name is, that test tube baby. Certainly not by that kid. He can never be replaced. He may have been being used by people at TPUSA who had not as nice and not as Christian motivations. The money may have been fleeced, like happens at all kinds of charities and nonprofits who get donations from rich people to do stuff. Got a lot of donations for people who wanted him to be a Zionist and keep people happy about Jewish influence and stuff. You can call in 650 gay taxi. We'll see if we get any calls. Maybe we don't. Maybe people aren't interested enough, but we'll open it up. I can play some videos to keep us entertained in the meantime, and I can go to some other news. We can show Megyn Kelly. We can show the finance guy. Well, let me show this because it's controversial. I'll show her husband talking about how they got married, which is kind of crazy. Really interesting. I think they knew each other for 17 days. Here it is.
Like this is a different woman to any woman that I meet her. So she was giving a speech in London, and she was giving a speech at the Royal Automobile Club, which
the call is free, Rob. Or if you need to join with a link, I can drop a link too. If you're a foreigner and you can't afford the phone call. But I think the number's free for us here in this country now. Used to be you had to call people long distance, unless it was nights and weekends. If you're old enough to remember when long distance was a thing. We have no such thing as long distance anymore. 650 gay taxi is the number. 650-429-8294. But I can also drop a link. Would you like me to? I can drop one right now. I don't care. That's how crazy I am. You can appear any way you want by video. Here, I'll drop it. And I need a mod to pin it because I'm not sophisticated enough. Did I already say how you can support the show? I don't know if I remembered to. If you want to super chat me, that'd be cool. I'm at, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. I'm not monetized because my content is dangerous. What did they call me? Harmful. I'm still classified as harmful on this channel. Back from talking about the COVID shots. There's news about vaccines today too, by the way. There is big news about vaccines. I can tell you that too. I dropped the link, right? Yeah, StreamYard. Somebody can here. I can try to pin it. Fuck it. If nobody else can. I have the technology. I am sophisticated enough. I'll play the rest of this clip. He says she is very impressive. This is it's kind of interesting.
Like this is a different woman to any woman that I meet her. So she was giving a speech in London, and she was giving a speech at the Royal Automobile Club, which is a club in Pall Mall in London. And I was in the audience. We met, we shook hands, and I just knew kind of when I met her, I was like, this is a woman who she just commanded a power. It was very difficult to describe. Nothing romantic was said, you know, between that day and the day that we got engaged. Nothing romantic was said at all. You know, there was no overtures. Like we didn't go for dinner. Like we didn't take it. Nothing.
Send her flowers.
No, nothing. Yeah, nothing. Exactly. And so I was very clear about that because it was almost like getting to know oneself in some ways. It was kind of a very strange experience. You know, it was like I saw myself in her, and in doing so, and that sounds sort of, well, I fell in love with myself. No, I didn't fall in love with her. I fell in love with a woman who gave so much of myself back to me, you know, and I I was very willing to let myself fade and give glory to her. You know, that's how I view our marriage in many ways. Like I'm very happy to take a secondary position to give glory to her. You know, I'm far less politically involved now than I was because she's much more politically involved than I ever could be. When I met her, she was this tour de force, you know, incredible mind, incredible beauty. I was so willing to just be enraptured to her.
Interesting. Not a patriarch type. He said he's willing to take a back seat to his wife. That's okay. She is very powerful. She is super powerful. More powerful than ever right now. I see what people are saying. Some people say he's her handler. That's what Ellie Helin says. If people don't call in, I can just respond to the chat a little bit. And if it takes long enough, I'll just move on. 650 Gate Taxi. If you want to call and give your opinion or contradict anything I said or anything about Candace Owens. Bearable Pain says cuck. All right. Well, I'll play one more clip. I have the phone number up if anybody wants to give their points on it. Otherwise, maybe you think I did a perfect job and it needs no response. I have 7 minutes from the Megyn Kelly show of her having Kash Patel on. Do you want to hear that? Okay. We'll play it. We'll play some of that. Where he asks her about the Candace Owens stuff.
Let me hit some other items that are in the news around the FBI. I'll start with the one that's probably most important to our audience, and that's the Charlie Kirk investigation, Cash. Obviously, this audience includes huge fans of Charlie's. He came on the show once every 3 weeks for years. And so we're all watching that one very carefully. Let me start with this, the most obvious. Do you believe that we have the proper suspect in custody? Do you believe that Tyler Robinson is, in fact, the man who killed Charlie Kirk?
Yes.
Do you believe he acted with the help of anyone else?
This investigation is being led by the Utah state authorities because it is a murder investigation. So the FBI is a supporting role in the investigative process. And so what we're doing is the same thing we did in the pipe bomb investigation. The investigation is ongoing for us. If there's any new leads or tips, we are exhausting them with search warrants and legal process. But at the same time, we're working with the prosecutors in Utah to make sure we don't screw up their investigation. Because again, the worst outcome would be if the guy that killed Charlie Kirk walks out of a United States courtroom in the state of Utah. And so it's a delicate balance again, but there is no way this FBI is going to stop that investigation until it reaches its all-conclusive endpoint.
Do you believe any foreign government had a role in his assassination?
At this time, the FBI doesn't have credible information to connect any foreign governments to it. But as I said, we are continuing to take investigative leads. We're not done. Just because we arrest someone, just like in the pipe bomber case, we don't just say, okay, we're done, on to the next. The investigative team continues to work with the Utah authorities, and they're deriving their own leads and coming back to us and say, hey, can you look at this piece of information? Can we get a search warrant on this account? What about this individual who is located in X, Y, or Z? We're tracking all that down.
Do you have any credible reason to believe that anyone connected with the Turning Point organization had anything to do with Charlie's death?
Zero.
On the subject, there's been an allegation made by prominent podcaster Candace Owens that she's received a death threat, a credible death threat from the French, that a threat has been made on her life, and that the French, she's been told, also may have had a role in Charlie's assassination. Have you looked into either of those? Do you believe she's received a credible death threat from the French, or that the French had something potentially to do with Charlie's death?
Any American that receives a death threat from overseas or anywhere in America is going to be fully investigated. So we're not going to turn our eye away from that investigation or any others. If there's anything to it, this FBI will respond to it.
There. So
Okay,
he says, if there's anything to it. Credible, he says. They don't want to say there's nothing to it or no. He's like, anybody that gets a death threat, credible, he says, then we're going to look into it. I don't think she's provided the government with any evidence. She says, oh, they're not looking into it. She's like, I think they would want to look into it. I think they would look into it if she provided them evidence, but it seems like she hasn't. Kash Patel, there's a story out about him. There are a few stories. One is that he insisted on wearing an FBI jacket when he showed up to announce the Tyler Robinson arrest, I believe, and that he ended up wearing like a women's medium jacket that somebody had to give him FBI patches for. He has the honeypot girlfriend. There's a story on MS Now that she gets special protection from the government when she goes out with her friends in Nashville. And the story from MS Now, formerly MSNBC, was that she needed the FBI to drive home one of her drunk girlfriends. This is the story. She wanted the FBI security detail, which Kash Patel insists that she have, to drive home her drunk girlfriend after a night of partying in Nashville. And they said no. And then Kash Patel called them to ream them out. However, it is MS Now. And when they were challenged on the veracity of their story, they couldn't provide any evidence that it was true. So I don't know. I think it might not be true based on what I've heard, is that the government came out and said it was totally false, never happened. And they called the reporter and they said to the reporter, what time, what place did it happen? You tell me. If you have evidence that it happened, when did it happen? Where did it happen? And the reporter said, oh, we can't tell you. Which, if it was true, they should be able to tell them because they would want to fact check it. So, but that story did come out. And the honeypot girlfriend, you know, is a controversial subject. She's suing Elijah Schaffer for calling her a honeypot, an Israeli honeypot. So there's that.
So we are just looking at everything that comes in. We're not going to reject any piece of information. If someone feels that their life is being threatened, we are, of course, looking at it.
But they're not. So if someone feels their life is being threatened, we are looking at it, but they're not looking at it, according to Candace Owens. But I assume that's because she hasn't shown them any proof, basically. Like they don't think it's real.
Verify that myself, because we've received some very dark things here at our show, and you guys have always been very responsive in looking hard at the people who send them. Can I ask you, Kash, the text messages between Tyler Robinson and his roommate Lance Twiggs, the reason a lot of people think Tyler didn't do it is because they sound kind of fake. You know, the wording just sounds a little strange. Like, I thought they caught the person, you know, or no, you weren't the one who did it, right? I am. I'm sorry. They go on from there. Why did I do it? Yeah, I had enough of his hatred, and so on. Do you have any reason to believe that text exchange was not real between them for whatever reason, potentially even having been orchestrated between the two of them?
Look, I understand the emotion behind this case. Charlie was my friend. He was your friend. He was assassinated in the most brutal way in a public forum where he was trying to have engagement with the youth of the United States of America. And while I was representing the White House at Ground Zero in New York City on 9/11, we made the decision to pivot immediately and fly out to Utah to make sure we executed this manhunt. We went out there, the FBI seized the video evidence and put it out to the public immediately. And then this individual was caught in 33 hours. And so I understand that there's so much charged emotion on the other evidence that was collected. the notes that you were talking about, the text message, excuse me. And we present that information to the prosecutors to make the determination based on the evidence we have as to whether or not they were real. I can't stylize or comment on it because it's an ongoing investigation, but I don't believe the prosecutors in the state of Utah would be using any piece of information or evidence that was not credible.
Last but not least on Charlie, there were texts by certain trans individuals online before the assassination talking about something big is going to be happening. And then after he was killed saying, and there it is, leading many of us to wonder whether there was some sort of trans Tifa connection to the murder, or at least maybe some tip off to the community. Is that under investigation?
That is most definitely under investigation. And we've disclosed a lot of that to the prosecution, or all of it that we have. And they've made some of it public to include that he was in a relationship with an individual who was part of that community, and that he was engaged in communications with other individuals in that community. But as to how they relate to the prosecution, that's up to the Utah prosecutors to say, we need this in court, and we're going to hold it till we release it, till his trial.
There you go.
Ever read the label on a typical bag?
So she asked him the right questions. He says they got the right guy. They're looking into the transfer connection, etc. As far as evidence, they have text messages. Apparently, this is what they say, which hasn't been disproven. People just say it's fake. Text messages confessing. It's Discord messages confessing. Apparently DNA on the gun, DNA on a screwdriver that was on the roof, I think. So they say they have damning evidence, which nobody's been able to disprove. I understand the questions. They say they have the bullet. Apparently. They say they have the 30-06 bullet, which everybody says should have blown his head off. So that's where we're at. We'll wait for the Super Bowl, the 15th, Monday the 15th. Skepticism reigns. Well, when something big happens, there are always lots of theories. The 30-06, the angle, etc. The text messages, the Discord messages. You guys want to hear about the boats? I kind of want to get into this. All right, that's all I have on Candace Owens today. Nobody wanted to call in. Boo-hoo. Your loss. Oh, I still have the financial thing. You've probably seen it, though. I have a feeling. You've already seen it. There's a guy that looked into the finances. This senator, this Arizona, I shouldn't say senator. I don't know for sure. This prominent Arizona politician was on their payroll for apparently providing services to them. And other people were apparently making lots of money. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I don't even know if I remember saying how to give me a super chat. You go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil, or go to Cash App, $LTV411. That's Cash App there. Then the Buy Me a Coffee is at the bottom of the screen. We also sell t-shirts, which are on closeout special, liquidation sale, real live American t-shirts. They were screen printed in America. Some of them were actually made in America with cotton from American farmers. They're all $5 and $10. We give things away. We're saving you money for your apparel, which you need for survival. We need clothes, food, and shelter. Well, they say we do. So these are clothes. This is part of what you need to survive. And it's given to you at costs you could not get anywhere else. $5 and $10. Question Everything shirts, Doshi shirts still left. Few Truth Matters baseball shirts. Few propaganda baseball jerseys in stock. That's a great shirt. And then we have our cryptocurrency shirts. We have a number of those in stock. You can probably find your size, $10 and $5. Bitcoin Safe sweatshirt for 20. That's the only one that's 20, but that's a sweatshirt. Should be 50. Freedom of Face. These are the ones made in America. $5. Kids even. We have a kids version here. And then we have all these question everything styles. A lot of styles in female. We love our females. We can tell we have some in the chat. So get them while you can at these prices. It's not that they're going to go up in price, but they're going to sell out. They're selling out in your size. I know it. I know what your size is, and I know we're selling out. So if you want to get them quick. Buy them in volume. Most people buy 2 or 3 while you can. Truthclothing.io. All right. All right. Let me show you this AI thing, since I'm really interested. Is AI going to take over the world? Yes. I was conversating today with Gemini and Grok. I tried talking to them today. I liked talking to Grok a little bit better. Apparently, Grok is maybe the top model now when you have mixed models together and people can choose. Apparently, people are choosing. Thank you, Curity. Says, love my propaganda tea. Me too. I love your propaganda tea and mine. Here's the deal with AI. Let's go to aggregate index. This is called Alpha Arena. This is what they're doing with AI to prove they can make money. They gave them money, a bunch of them, $10,000 each to run different portfolios. So they might have given them more than $10,000 each. They might have given them $10,000 4 times and had them run different schemes. And all of them lost money except for one so far. And this is a breakthrough because until this challenge, they'd run it before with cryptocurrency trading. Now this is a stock trading challenge. It lasted about 2 weeks. This is called Alpha Arena, where they're doing this challenge with top tier AI models. They gave them $10,000, told them to trade different ways. On this chart, if you can see it, it's tracking it live. Everybody has less than $10,000 in aggregate over 2 weeks, except for one with a question mark on it, which is up to $12,332 as of right now. Elon Musk revealed today that the mystery model that's doing so well is Grok, is an experimental version of Grok 4.20, Grok 420. It's pretty fascinating. And actually, it's kind of interesting because the one at the bottom here that lost the most money is also Grok. It's Grok 4, which lost more than half of the money. But most of them are down. ChatGPT is really close to 10K, $9,800. But the only one that's made money in any of these challenges so far was a mystery until today. Now we found out it's the newest version, not even released yet, of experimental Grok 4.20, 420. And this is the aggregate it made, which over 2 weeks is over 20% in stocks. It's kind of cool. They trade every 6 minutes and they show their work. So you can see it on the side here. It explains exactly what they're doing. There's open source models. Here's the mystery model, for example, just a few seconds ago. It tells you in English what it's thinking. My positions in XYZ 100 and Microsoft are looking strong with unrealized gains of 1041 and 146 respectively. The overall market conditions support my existing long thesis, so I'm holding both trades as is, waiting for them to hit profit targets. Apparently, they're doing extremely well, especially in this version, which you call situational awareness, where Grok 4.2 is up $6,000 on $10,000 in 2 weeks. Situational awareness means it knows what the other models are doing too. Interestingly, Grok 4, so that's Grok 4.2.0. Grok 4 lost almost all the money. It's down to $800 out of 10,000. So this is the progress that's happening in AI right now, which is that you apparently can tell AI to buy stocks and it can actually make money right now. So far, I saw Pirate Justin say, let's see how it does over a year. This is over 2 weeks while the stock market has gone up. I think the stock market's gone up. Maybe somebody said it's gone up 4% or something over the time period. So it's a good time period for things going up already. But you see, everybody else lost money. Yeah, most of them lost a lot of money. ChatGPT 5.1 is pretty close to 10 grand, which is pretty good. So this is a breakthrough in artificial intelligence technology. The implications, maybe you can imagine, the implications are pretty huge if it can be maintained over a long period of time. And if it can, if I was XAI, I would not release it to the public. To be honest, I'd just let it make money and keep it a damn secret. Because once it starts competing against itself, like let's say there's two models competing against each other, then you would assume the gains wouldn't be as great. So this is a technology that you would want to keep secret. Like BlackRock and other big banks have their own trading algorithms that win every single day, but they don't give them to other people, because if they gave them to other people, then it wouldn't be as successful. So it's an interesting thought experiment for sure. I asked how I could invest in XAI. You can't. It's a private company, 50% held by Elon Musk, but it's another reason that Elon Musk might be taking over the world. I don't know. He'll share it with Tesla. You can invest in Tesla. I don't know. But each time these new models come out, they're better than the last one. This, though, in particular, is a major breakthrough. Apparently, it's never happened before. So as far as AI taking over everything. And the good news, if you want good news, if you're not rich, is it'll take the jobs of people who make a shitload of money. The people who make the most money in the world, finance guys, everybody from Harvard, everybody from Stanford, they basically go into finance because they make the most money. All of our geniuses just do stupid jobs where all they do is move money around and make profit and get paid a ton. The whole economy of the UK is financial engineering. It's just lending money and engineering money to do nothing productive except for make money for bankers. So the good news, if you think of it as good news, is this can democratize that or take over that kind of work, the kind of work that pays the most money in the world, pretty much, which is picking stocks, being some kind of algorithmic genius or something, and put them all out of work. And so AI is not only coming for Uber drivers and entry-level positions, now it's going to be coming after the top paying jobs on earth in finance, which I wouldn't mind seeing the bankers lose their jobs, to be honest. So that's the news. You can see this in this specific model, situational awareness, which makes the models aware of the competition. It's up 60% in 2 weeks. I mean, that's insane. Looks like it made most of it in the last few days. Last After a week, it hadn't made anything. So in the last week, it did really well. So who knows? Maybe it figured something out. If it did, though, if it's serious, if it can last, then it's actually a very important milestone in artificial intelligence. So I wanted to make you aware of it. You can follow the trades because it tells you right here on the side. They make trades every 6 minutes and they publish it. Tells you when they buy and it tells you when they sell in real time. That's all right here on the side. All right here. And then on this other page, it tells you the reasoning for it. Mystery model. This is from 1 minute ago, saying exactly what it's doing. Holding Palantir long with 10x leverage, it says. Up $475. And it says, keeping the position as is, waiting for a clearer breakout to avoid fees, it says. So it tells you everything it's doing. Maybe you could just follow it if you could stay awake 24 hours a day. But the stock market's not open 24 hours a day. Never sleeps, doesn't have to eat, doesn't have to poop, doesn't need praise, doesn't get spun out, doesn't have fear, doesn't have greed. It just is. And it's basically free. So eat all the bankers. That's fine with me. So that's the AI news for today. Very, very fascinating. Very fascinating. All right, we'll talk about the boats. Tom Cotton. Tom Cotton, he's particularly defensive. Hadn't said anything until recently. The Admiral Bradley went into private meetings, showed them the video, which Democrats say doesn't show them doing anything threatening. Some people are trying to say they were trying to get back in the boat. They're radioing for help. But there are many people who are saying, like CNN is reporting, there were no radios. Democrats are saying they were clearly about to drown, basically, that they had no chance. Even if they did have radios, it's still illegal to have killed survivors. According to our own laws, shipwrecked sailors, you're supposed to rescue them and certainly not blow them up. It wasn't just 2 strikes, it was 4 strikes, apparently. Many people don't care. I mean, from the sentiment that I read on X or Twitter, many people don't care. They're like, I want to see drug dealers die. But that doesn't change the fact that that most attorneys who are professors or who are military attorneys who've commented on it, and even on Newsmax, Napolitano commented on it. The double tap in particular would be a war crime if we were at war, which we're not. Actually, we're actually not at war, so I don't even know if it is a war crime. It would be, for sure, based on what I've seen of the evidence. It 100% would be a war crime. Republicans are defending it, saying it's not. But it would be based on our own laws, based on the evidence that they've explained. Unless I don't know. There's a theory that they were radioing for help, but it doesn't matter if they were radioing for help. And apparently they weren't. They were almost dead, apparently. The boat was on fire. They weren't getting back into the fight, etc. Here is some of Tom Cotton, who seems particularly odious to me, on CNN. So I'll show you that.
Let me ask you this specific question. Would it be legal for police in Arkansas to kill suspected drug dealers on a boat in an overturned lake?
Well, John, let me go back to the premise of your question. The Washington Post reported that Pete Hegseth had given an unlawful order of no quarter or no one left alive or kill them all. Pete Hegseth denied that last week, and it didn't deny that there was a second strike. Mitch Bradley and Dan Cain both flatly denied that yesterday as well, which some of the Democrats who watched that video and got those briefings confirmed. So that was what the Washington Post reported. That is a total and complete lie. I just respectfully disagree with my Democratic friends here. I think the problem they have is not with the second strike, it's with the first strike and every other strike on these boats. They think the entire operation is not well-founded. I just disagree with them. I think what the analogy I would draw is not Arkansas police officers dealing with American citizens. If those boats were loaded with bombs or missiles headed for the United States, I don't think anyone would dispute that we had every right and indeed a duty to intercept them. But those drugs detonate like a bomb all across Arkansas and all across America, killing hundreds of Arkansans and hundreds of thousands of Americans. Our government has a duty to protect our communities from those drugs.
Senator,
that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Can I just take this in pieces? And we first answer my question. Would it be legal for police in Arkansas to kill suspected drug dealers on an overturned boat in a lake in Arkansas? Just answer that, and then I will address your question on the other thing.
John, the premise of your question is not well-founded. Criminals in Arkansas are not foreign nationals who are affiliates of a foreign terrorist designated organization.
The answer is no, it would not be legal.
It's like saying
hang on, Senator. The answer is no, it would not be legal to kill them. But let me ask a follow-up question. If they are terrorists, when did Congress pass the authorized use of force to attack them?
John, the reason why your question is not well-founded is like saying, would Barack Obama be okay droning an American citizen when he was president like he did to Anwar al-Awlaki over in the Middle East? These are totally different categories.
Senator, that's why I asked.
No,
that's why I asked.
he wouldn't
that's
be.
why
Okay.
I asked. That's why I asked when Congress passed the authorized use of military force. There was an authorized use of military force against terrorists. I'm not saying what he was legal or not, but that's what they based it on. In this case, when was the authorized use of military force to attack suspected drug dealers off the coast of Venezuela?
John, the president has inherent authority as the commander-in-chief under the Constitution to protect America using our armed forces against a foreign terrorist organization.
You can't just call people terror. I mean, then you could just call people terrorists. And he's inherently able to because it's drug. I mean, he goes, if there were bombs on the boat, but there weren't bombs on the boat. And they weren't even armed as far as anybody can tell. And they can't make it to America 100%. It's physically impossible for the boats that they're shooting to make it to the shores of the United States. And they don't present any immediate threat to any soldiers or any Americans of any kind. They have drugs, but that's not a legal designation. If we could just say drug dealers are terrorists, we don't execute drug dealers. Drug dealers don't get the death penalty in the United States. So what is the legal justification? And everybody I see is like, oh, fentanyl, fentanyl, fentanyl. But it's not fentanyl. It's 100% not fentanyl. And Venezuela doesn't produce cocaine. They don't produce drugs. They're not a drug hub. Maybe people move it through Venezuela. I mean, that's what people are saying. It's some kind of hub for drug dealing. But we could bomb Colombia. We could bomb Ecuador. We could bomb places that actually grow and produce cocaine, which I guess Trump is talking about doing. But what is the legal justification? It's supposed to be a law enforcement operation. We're supposed to interdict the boats, find the drugs, collect the evidence, and prosecute. And anyway, who are the people on the boats? We haven't named any of them. Who are the people on the boats? Are they really part of a cartel, or are they just drug mules? I remember Trump, one of the reasons I didn't like him in 2016 is Trump supports torture. Like, he's a big fan. Trump and Hegseth says the problem with the military is that we listen to lawyers too much and we don't just kill people. So that's what they're doing, is they're not listening to lawyers. They forced one of the military guys who said he was worried about it being illegal. They forced him to resign. And most legal scholars, even if they're military or JAG type scholars that aren't in the administration, say it's illegal. The whole thing. The double tap is just extra bad. But the whole thing is illegal from top to bottom. Unless we want people doing that to Americans. I mean, that's the thing. So it puts Americans in danger. Because if we can do it to other people, why can't they do it to us? If we're supposed to rescue people who, like, we expect other countries not to kill people who parachute out of jets and stuff. They're supposed to take them prisoner. When we had a spy plane shot down over Russia, or the USSR at the time, I think, they rescued the guy, I think. I think we got him back too. We expect other countries not to kill Americans who are hors de combat, as they say in French. So it puts us in danger. When we torture people, when we extrajudicially kill people, then that puts American soldiers in danger, because that means other people can do it to us. That's all. So I'm going to continue to have an issue with it. Here's a few more comments on it. Here's some from Democrats and stuff. We've already played you what Rand Paul says. Rand Paul is standing up against it, obviously.
At the time of the strike, you could clearly see the two people on the boat.
And they weren't calling, radioing in, anything like that.
I mean, if they had a radio device on them, it must have been really small, because it sure wasn't apparent from looking at the video. And they certainly did not appear to be signaling to anybody.
Can you square that with Senator Tom Cotton saying that they were trying to flip a boat that was loaded with drugs that was bound for the United States? Is that what you saw?
That's patently ridiculous. I mean,
that's not true in your view.
Gosh, Admiral Bradley didn't even pretend that was the case. There was no way they were turning this boat back over. The boat was completely disabled, and Admiral Bradley admitted that. It was drifting with the current. It was going to go wherever the current was going to take them. And I don't know, I didn't see all 48 minutes between the first and second strike, maybe for the first 10, but it appears that the boat was split at least in half. I mean, there was this tiny little bit of the bow that was still, capsized. They weren't trying to flip anything over, first of all. Second of all, there is the claim that the drugs still could have been there. There's no real evidence of that. You see the first strike, boat's on fire, flips over, maybe in that tiny portion of the boat. But that's speculation, and it certainly wasn't clear from the video.
So hopefully they'll release the video. Even some Republicans are asking for it. Here's another clip of another Democrat. It's split along party lines. So, yeah, Democrats have some reason to say it, but.
Congressman, so part of the briefing included video of the strike that has not been shown in public yet. What was your reaction to that video?
Yeah, Jake, and I hope it will be shown to the public, because it's going to be really important for the American people to know what is being done in their name. And, it's pretty easy to get excited about, efforts to take out drug dealers, but the video was enormously, enormously disturbing. And I can't describe it in detail, but to tell you that The initial strike, as you might imagine, when a piece of munitions falls on a small boat, did an immense amount of damage, caused a huge amount of fire, and ultimately the end result was 2 individuals without any weaponry, without any tools of any kind, clinging to a wrecked boat, really what looked like flotsam. And we observed them for a long time, and the commanders involved said that they believed that there might be some chance they would be rescued, that there might be some chance that the cocaine on board could be recovered. But these 2 individuals, to anyone looking at this thing, would say are moments away from slipping under the waves. The decision was taken to kill them, and that is in fact what happened. And that was pretty hard to watch, I must say.
There you go. So again, that's Democrats. I know it can be partisan, but that's what they say. All right. And then I do have some news about healthcare. So that's the news about the boats. Also, a report came out that Hegseth shared sensitive information on Signalgate, that whole story where he shared information that there was a reporter mixed into a chat group, and he told everybody that the U.S. was going to strike Yemen, I believe, before it happened. And the report came out and said that that was bad. And then all the Republicans said, oh, he's exonerated, but he wasn't exonerated by the report at all. They said it was bad what he did, but Trump seems to be standing by him. A lot of people don't like Hegseth on kind of both sides, I think, a little bit, but Trump is still standing by him. But there was that thing that came out too, which is that he shared classified information on his phone, which he's not supposed to do. It's not clear that he declassified it first, which he would have been allowed to do, but he shared information that put soldiers in danger, actually, because it revealed something that they were going to do in the future. All right. Finally, I'll just give you some stuff about what we're going to, as far as I can tell, we're going to shut down the government again in January because they won't agree on healthcare. Democrats are going to bring up a 3-year extension to Obamacare subsidies. Republicans are totally against it. Trump actually was for it. He was going to extend it for 2 years. He was going to make an announcement a couple of weeks ago. And then he was going to do that without consulting with any Republicans in the House or the Senate. And he heard all the Republicans in the House and the Senate were like, we don't want to do that. And then he canceled the announcement. But Trump was going to extend the subsidies. Now nobody's going to extend the subsidies as far as I can tell. Republicans, for the most part, are totally against it, except for a few in the House. And so we want to look at what Republican solutions are going to be. One of them is that Costco and Amazon are going to start selling healthcare. Here it is.
There, empowering patients to become consumers again. Look, women make 80% of the healthcare decisions for families. And by empowering them, by showing them prices and putting money in their pocket, rather than asking, does my insurance coverage cover this or not, it's going to start bringing prices down. But there's more to it. We do need some type of reinsurance pool to take care of the high-risk people. We would like to have association healthcare plans. We're saying Amazon or a Costco, someone like that, could sell health plans across state plans and use the power of bringing lots of people together as well. So it's not one silver bullet, but there's lots of things we can do to help bring the real cost of healthcare down, not just floating it to the government to make up the difference. So there, empowering.
There you go. Private healthcare sold across state lines. Sure, that could help. The only thing that could help is if everybody's enrolled, as far as I understand it. Healthcare is expensive because we get fucked by pharmaceutical companies and middlemen and administrators, which probably could be replaced by AI and bring the cost down. So they could do that. They could replace a bunch of the middlemen that make money doing nothing and replace them with machines. That would be beneficial, probably. They're probably not going to do that because they like fleecing everybody, including the government. Or you could get everybody to pay, including people who are young and healthy, And that would bring down costs if you have more people involved and everybody involved. But people can't afford it in the first place. So more people are dropping out. The price of Obamacare is going up for apparently 20 million people, which means they're going to stop paying. And then actually it's going to go up even more. The more people drop out and stop paying for it, the more it's going to go up for everybody left. Because the only people that are going to be left are people that are really sick, probably, and need it. So that's probably where we're headed, to a real total catastrophe with healthcare, is what I believe. And they say it's 20 million people. If it is, then 20 million people are about to be totally screwed. I've heard some Republicans say it's only 1 million people. Well, if it's only 1 million people, then maybe it won't be that crazy. But if it is 20 million, their prices are going up over 100%, which is what they say, then it's going to be catastrophic, and probably catastrophic mostly for Republicans. Probably, because their proposals, private insurance, if they can deny people, so this is the way insurance costs could go down. Let them deny people, which Obamacare doesn't let them do. You have to let the free markets work. So you'd have to let them deny people, which people don't think is right. And that's what Obamacare is all about. They're not allowed to deny people for pre-existing conditions. So you either have to start allowing them to do that, or nothing. I mean, like I said, I'm pretty sure Democrats next time around are going to ask for government health care, and they'll win, and they'll probably win, probably, if I had to guess, because people prefer that to the private system we have, which is completely breaking right now. I think it's totally unwinding. So probably another government shutdown in January, and probably, like I said, Republicans are going to lose. RFK, then this will just make things more expensive. RFK Jr. says insurers will end prior authorization for millions of Americans by 2026, which is good. He said that insurance companies are going to stop requiring prior authorization for most procedures starting in January. But actually, they save money that way, I think, by not covering things. So that'll just make it so they have to cover more things without challenging people, which will probably make the cost of healthcare even higher. So I'm not really that optimistic that we're going to fix healthcare. And in healthcare news, they struck down the recommendation for the Hep B vaccine today. RFK's counsel, they struck it down today. So no longer is the Hep B vaccine recommended for the first 24 hours of life, which I think is positive. Although a lot of people think it's insane. A lot of doctors and stuff who are out there are saying that it's going to really put people in danger. But I don't know why we're giving anybody that kind of vaccine in the first 24 hours. Seems dangerous to me, but I don't want to spread harmful misinformation again. But that happened today, 8-3. All right. So thanks everybody tuning in. See some people still talking about Candace. Appreciate it. You can go back and listen to the beginning of the show, what my thoughts were. I invited people to call in. People didn't take me up on my offer, which is fine. No problem. Appreciate people tuning into the show. I will check now to see if anybody dropped me a coffee. We appreciate your support. The show costs money to produce. We don't make a profit. Buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil is where you can drop coffees. And we didn't get any today. So you must instead just praise me and give me a thumbs up or something instead of money to make it worth our time together. Just give me a thumbs up if you can on your way out, and go ahead and subscribe if you've never been here before, and buy some t-shirts. I know some people have been buying t-shirts. Then you get something for it. Truthclothing.io for t-shirts. Buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil for coffees. And that's it. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you tuning in. And usually I do a show tomorrow too, even on the weekends, 6 days a week. It's amazing for literally nothing. I actually lose money doing the show. So if you want to support it, that'd be great. All right. For now, that's what it is.